Nikolai, Bobby, and David, get ready. You're next on episode 33 of the Reddit Golf Swing Analysis series. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Line Golf Academy series. We're in this series for the Reddit Golf Swing Analysis. We go ahead and analyze swing videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Line Golf Academy's Swing Analysis series. In this series, we analyze Reddit swing golf submissions that were submitted to us by users of Reddit to take a look at their cause and effects in their golf swing and help them get on track to at least either seek some knowledge from a local golf professional or to take a look at what causes some issues in their motion. I have been on layaway for about 7 or 8 weeks now, so I do apologize, but things have been getting a little bit hectic at the academies as we're right into the summer schedule. We host about 12 to 15 summer camps as well as our curriculum, so I've been bouncing all around. So hopefully we'll start seeing some videos filter back into this channel, but I appreciate your patience. So with that being said, let's get right on to it. All right, first we have on screen is Bobby. Bobby sent this back to me in end of May, so I apologize for the long wait. Hopefully your swing has gotten better. So this is maybe stuff that you've already worked on, but this is a pitching wedge. It looks like it says in your notes, no other notes provided, so that's okay. Let's just put some back brace lines here for a second. Let's check your ball position. Being a pitching wedge, you never really want this golf ball to creep back on the right side. You want it to kind of be in the center of your chest. So it looks pretty good. Hands are slightly leaning back, which is okay, but let's take a look at this motion. Okay, I see some disconnect right off the bat. I see the hands and arms are kind of lagging behind, having to flip through. Some weight distribution issues. Okay, I like to look at it from this side first, just because we can see what's going on face on. It kind of makes the down the line make more sense, because most of the face on issues happen from ball position placement. All right, let's take a look as we take this club back. Let's see if I can do this in slow motion here. Nope. Okay, well, technology, gotta love it. When the club is at parallel, I don't see a lot of lower body action going on here. It looks like your hips are kind of stuck. Now, you might be very flexible, and we can see that because of all these lines that you create on that left side because you're kind of torquing around your spine. But you can see how your arms are starting to get disconnected very shallow with a pitching wedge. Remember, pitching wedges are meant to be struck down further, so you know your left arm and your right arm should be more up in this region because you're trying to strike down. It's a shorter club, so you're going to stand closer to the golf ball and almost hunching over more, which creates your angle of attack to be a little bit steeper. So you know, very flat. You know, I've seen it been done. It's okay, but it depends on what your ball flight is. And since you don't have many notes for me to go off of, I'm just going to based on what I see to help you out. So at this position, left shoulder looks a little bit higher than it needs to be. So maybe get that left shoulder to go a little bit lower, which in essence will raise your hands up higher because it kind of connects it together. And your club shaft position looks okay. I mean, you don't want it to be any further than that. And do we get it further? Yeah, we do. We get it much further. So you're going to parallel. Now remember, just because the club goes to parallel does not necessarily equate distance. Sometimes you lose distance because what you've done is you've taken your arms away from that center of your chest. Now they don't stay completely centered, but you don't want them to cross any further back than they need to, because now you're disconnected. And you'll see as you go back down, you're trying to unwind and uncoil, but your hands are so far behind the game that either you have to stop rotating to allow your hands to catch up, or your hands have to flip and maybe start leaning towards the target to help get that ball position closer to the hands to allow them to flip. So this is that cause and effect that we're talking about. And as we come on back down, you can see you're getting the lean going on the left side to help that ball position move closer to the right to the right side of your body. And you can see already your hands are starting to release, and there goes all the power. And from here, you're just going to be flipping it a lot, and then just kind of stabilize yourself. So it doesn't look very balanced to swing, and mainly because you're trying to reconnect and you have to create a lot of room to reconnect. Maybe some playing issues might come from this. We'll tell from the down the line, but all in all, you know, I really think your posture, we'll be able to see from down the line to see if your posture is okay, to see if you're getting the right spine angle. But most of the time, you know, try and stay in that spine angle at impact. And I have a couple of videos up there, and I'm sure other videos that you can find that are not from me do plenty of justice for this. So spine angle retention is your friend, but you cannot hold your spine angle when you're reconnecting, because you need to create room to reconnect, and that's why most of us stand up to get out the way, to create the room for the hands and arms to flip through. So I would imagine you hit a lot of thin shots, a lot of fat shots, a lot of golf balls that don't go anywhere or go blading over the greens. If that sounds familiar, you're probably disconnected. Let's take a look at your down the line. All right, Bobby, so we got you down the line. Already got the lines filled up, so you don't have to waste time watching me do that. It looks like right off the bat, your setup, you do have a pretty good spine angle leaning down, which is great. So it didn't look like that from the front, but down the line it definitely helps, which is why we need these two sides to make sure we get this thing correct. Arms do look very tucked in though, very close to your body. The problem with this is now they don't have any room. So, you'd need to get a lot of hip turn to create the room from that position. I'm not sure if you do from this view, but from the front view, it certainly looked like you didn't turn your hips enough, but we'll take a look as we go through. But from this, now you're going to have to make some manipulations for your hands and arms to clear because there's no room for them to clear. So we'll see how you do that. So you do have some hip turn there. I'd still like to see a little bit more though. Shoulders are doing great. They're definitely pointing back down. Arms are looking okay right there. You see the arms should be kind of just stopping, even short of that. But they keep on going back and you're already starting to unwind. There's so much disconnection here that on the way through, it's really hard to get this thing down in frames. This thing doesn't do frame rates, but I can tell that club is being thrown because there's that over the top motion. And when you see that, that's that right hand trying to throw it a little bit too soon because it's disconnected. In essence, you should be turning and tilting underneath, and you do have some room, but you see that lower body's firing way too quick. This is a common misconception that the lower body has to fire. The lower body should be very, very poised. Your feet should be on the ground, specifically with a wedge. You don't need power. We're not looking for power for wedges. That's why you have 14 clubs. You swing them all the same with controlled, it's controlled aggression. 70%, feet on the ground, get stable. You don't spin out. This is a spinning out motion. Golf ball is going to go hard left with the pitching wedge, and you're going to miss it to the right with a longer club. That's just the way the planes work. And unfortunately for you, it's just being disconnected. And your hands do a good job. You do recover pretty well because, you have to be a fairly good athlete to get your hands and arms to time that. So unfortunately, the better the athlete you are, the harder it is to feel because you have much better compensation moves than the average person. So you can see you definitely stand up. You've lost your posture at impact, and as a result, your upper body's coming out of the posture. Now, keep in mind, this is well after you've struck the golf ball, so it's okay to stand up, but you get there a little too soon. So it's just a lot of lower body motion, a lot of disconnection with the hands and arms. So you need to get everything together. So I highly recommend you go and look for somebody in your area that can help you keep your connection. If you can't find anybody or you can't afford it, that's I understand that. Just do a bucket drill, put a bucket in your hands and just kind of turn around and feel what it's like to be connected with your hands and arms while your feet are staying planted. You have to plant your feet, okay? Only after you hit the ball, then you come out of your posture to help you turn. Don't fire too soon. We all want to be Tiger, but even Tiger nowadays keeps his feet on the ground because he has to for injuries. I don't want you to become injured. So I hope that helps you. I don't know where you're from. I'm going to take a guess. You're in some sort of gymnasium. Either that or you're a very wealthy individual and you have your own gym at home, which I'm very jealous of. I like that bucket of balls. I'm just going to shoot it out. There's no clues in my email that I got from you, so I'm just going to say Wichita. Hope that helps. Let's see who's next. All right, next up we have Nikolai. Nikolai, welcome again. Sorry for the delay. I hope you understand, and I appreciate your patience. Nikolai, I'm not sure what club this is. Let me see if you put it in your notes. Okay, no notes, so let me just assume that it's a short kind of wedge. I see a lot of loft on that club, and it looks fairly short, so we'll do our best to see what this does. Now, I can't understand why I can't do frame by frame. Am I getting frame by frame? No. Okay, well, we'll just have to work with it. Okay, so right off the bat, ball position slightly behind the center, which is okay, but your hands are definitely forward pressing. And if you're watched my previous videos, I'm not too much of a fan of too much forward pressing because that's where your hands are connected. And in essence, you're presetting your release angle and you're also de-lofting the club. Now, if you just naturally turn around that position, you stay centered and balanced, your hands will be in an unusual position because they won't be able to release the ball naturally, and you'll have to do a lot of compensation by tilting or overturning. So let's see if that's the case for you. But other than that, it looks pretty good. Okay, a little bit of sliding going on there. So you see come out of your upper body spine angle. And then as we come on back through, a lot of turning. Okay. And then kind of a stop, and there's that accentuated hold for the release. All right, it's not too bad actually. Okay, it seems like you sit on your heels as you come on back down. We'll have to see how that affects your plane from down the line. But overall, I mean, it looks steady enough. I'm looking at your center of your head, so at least your head is still fairly centered. Okay, I say this, you know, we can nitpick swings all day. I'd say it's pretty functional. I don't see a lot of disconnection going on. I see everything kind of rotating down. The lower body gets nice and quiet. See both heels are on the ground at impact, which is pretty good. Then you come on up. Okay, it looks pretty good, Nikolai. I think not a lot of major issues I see, other than maybe some injury issues that you could maybe develop past impact. Look at that left knee. So that left knee's kind of in an unusual position here. Just be careful. And this could be, you know, it could be shaft humping. You could be standing up in impact, which causes your weight shifting to kind of jut that left knee out. We'll look at it down the line to see what's going on. But other than that potential left injury issue, and especially there, I mean, look at all that weight that's being put out here, and your upper body weight's still behind. So there's a lot of tension stored up here. But other than that, I mean, it looks okay. I wouldn't really worry too much about it. Maybe if you have some time, you want to send me a full swing with like a 6-iron, 5-iron, really go after it. Let's take a look at that. But other than that, let me first guess where you're from. It's very cloudy. It doesn't look like fog cloud. It looks like some whatever those clouds are called. I haven't been to school in 30 years, 40 years, so I don't know what that was called. But I'm going to guess you're somewhere in Dallas. That's it, Dallas or Wichita. But either way, let's go look at your down the line. All right, Nikolai, let's take a look. You're very hunched over. A lot of, you know, you have a lot of spine angle to retain here, which is a little bit concerning. Left arm's a little bit low. You do a good job though, holding that angle, and then you come on, stand up. Yeah, okay, so it's what I thought from the front. Now, I'm curious to see, this doesn't look like a wedge here. I could be wrong, but it looks like a little higher, a lower lofted club. So if you could let me know in the comments if you're watching this, just let me know what club that second video was. It doesn't look like the same, but it could be. But either way, where you start, you know, this angle here is a really tough angle to hold because you're so bent over. Now, if that is a wedge, you might have too short of a clubs for you, which is causing you to bend over to sacrifice for the clubs. So if you are a tall person, it's hard to tell, but it looks like you're pretty tall. You might want to go get fitted for clubs that will help you get in a better setup position, because this is a very, very hard position to hold. And you can see at impact, you can't stay down like that at impact while you're driving your knees, you know, beneath you as you're trying to turn. So naturally, you're going to start to stand up to alleviate some pressure. And this is what changes your planes, because when you stand up, your hands actually go higher with your body, and that flattens out your plane. So other than potential short clubs, if they're the right size clubs, then I would recommend readjusting your posture. So you don't need to be this hunched over. You know, try and get to maybe in between where you start and where you finish. So if you want to kind of stand a little closer and taller, and then let your arms kind of hang down more naturally. You know, when you're really bent over, it pulls your hands into your body. You can see they're not naturally hanging down. They're kind of being pulled down, and that's going to change a lot of things too, specifically in the way you take the club back up, because your arms are going to go one way and your club's going to go the other. You do a really good job here, but as you get to the top, by you starting to stand up a little bit, that's going to also make your plane a little bit flatter. And then you just kind of stuck in that flat plane line. You do a good job recompensating though, and you time that flip. So again, pretty, you know, evident golf swing that you can hit the golf ball. It would have to, more notes would be helpful to see your tendencies, your ball flights, but I would imagine you probably have a lot of, not necessarily distance control issues, but contact issues. You might hit the ball really well, or you might hit it not so well. Now I know that sounds like everybody, including myself, more for the not so well for myself, but club length really does affect a lot of things too, and it looks like it just affects your setup, which in turn affects your whole swing. So go get fitted if you haven't been fitted, just to make sure. If they're the right size fitting for you, then start changing that address position. Try and not forward press either, because that forward press plus your address position. You can just see there's just too much to compensate. And unless you're hitting thousands of balls a week, it's going to be really tough for you to find that compensation move and ingrain it over and over again, a la Jim Furyk. So I hope that helps you, and I hope you're in Dallas. If not, I hope you're in Wichita, because one of these days I'm going to get Wichita. But if not, stay tuned. Thanks again for your patience, and let's see who's next. All right, next up we have David. So David, welcome. It says you started 5 months ago, so this was about a month ago. So you're into 6 or 7 months, so welcome. He's played on the golf course 2 times, took 1 hour lesson, which really focused on shifting my weight, including the side and head views. Perfect. Thank you so much, David. Let's take a look here before we start. I'm going to draw customary lines. And if you guys are using analysis software, I recommend drawing these basic lines just to help you out. And again, I'm not a fan of this. I know some instructors teach this, and that's okay. That's their philosophy, but I'm just not a fan of it because it forces you to delay your release. You cannot release it from that position naturally and in balance. That's where your ball position should be based on that setup. But you can see you've already preset your release. And at that point, if you go ahead and release this club, that club face is shut down and you're going to hook it like crazy. So you have to develop some compensation move. But let's just take a look at what you do. So 5 months into it, I know you said you worked on weight shifting. Okay, maybe a little bit too much weight shifting going on there, but that top position looks pretty solid though. I mean, look at that left arm, fairly straight. It's got a nice L lag going on there. They're not crossing the chest. You've got a lot of turn, which is really good. Do you get back to the left side? Okay, you get to the left side, but a little bit delayed on the turn and a tiny bit of flip as a result. And a little bit of a hold on. Okay, so that you know, you're trying to flip it through to catch up, but then you can't release it, so you have to really drive up because of that forward press to hold that, delay that release slightly. But you do have a lot of torque. I mean, you're very, very strong, very capable motion. Really good solid foundation here. You know, obviously get a second and third and fourth opinion about that forward press, but that's what my suggestion would be, is not be so forward pressed, just because it's going to create some issues for you. But weight shifting, I understand what the professional's helping you learn. You know, in order to throw a ball, you need to go from the right side to the left side, but just be careful because that golf ball is only 1.25 inches in diameter. So if you move 3 or 4 inches, you have to move back 3 or 4 inches. Now the problem is when you're moving this way, momentum's taking you this way too. So now all of a sudden you might overshoot that 3 or 4 inches and go 6 or 7 inches, and you've taken that ball position and you moved it from the center of your chest to 3 or 4 inches behind the center of your chest, and as a result your hands have to kind of flip, but then you can't flip because of that forward press, so you have to kind of flip and hold. So it's just a lot of issues on your back that could be created from that motion. So I understand what he's trying to do. I'm more of a favor of just kind of getting in that spine angle, and you can still turn and turn around that spine angle, and you can develop weight shift without moving your whole body. So maybe that's the next step for you. But again, go see that professional, talk to him about that preset. Maybe he has a different philosophy that can sell you better than I can, and that's fine. I mean, everyone's unique, everyone has their own teaching style, and none of them are right, none of them are wrong, but what I look for is just to help promote ease and go out and play more instead of sitting there being a range rat like we all do, and that's not a good thing either. So let's just take a look at the down the line to make sure everything's okay there. All right, David, let's take a look down the line. Boy, I don't know where that is. I'm gonna have a tough time guessing. Very hazy city. Grass looks southerny. You don't forget it. Dallas. Let's go Dallas again. I'm probably wrong, but if it's not Dallas, Wichita. Let's hope it's Wichita. All right, let's take a look at your posture, spine angle. Let's take a look at the swing at first to see what's going on. Okay, well, pretty good there. Okay, good. Not too bad. Hands a little high, a little long. Slight reroute to help you. Losing posture a little bit. And there's that flip and hold because of the forward press. We can see that left elbow coming out because you're trying to do your best to push your arms out. So, okay. So hopefully you see this as well. But again, if you look at your hips, you know, your back of your heel is supporting the center of your hip. Your toes are supporting your chest. This foot needs to support the back of the heel. This can be the back of your hip and the front of the hip. So we need to get those feet further back. We need to get you a little bit more tilted down, help you strike down the golf ball. I'm not quite sure what club this is. It looks probably like a 6 or 7 iron, does it say? No. Okay, but watch your back brace line. So your back brace line here, and then also your spine angle line. We're taking it back. You're doing a good job staying in your posture. You can see that left shoulder's going down. Everything's looking great. As we strike down on the golf ball, you come in very steep with that club, but you try and reroute it. Where's your weight pushing? Your weight's pushing kind of to your toes. You can see that back left heel kind of standing up a little bit. At impact, look at how straight you are. I mean, you've lost a lot of this, room, and you've also started to stand up. Now, when you lose your room and you stand up, what happens to your arms? Your arms kind of go beneath, and then you have to flip. So that could be part of the compensation from your hands getting too high. And what caused your hands to get too high? Who knows? It could be your address position. It could be your posture. It could be the weight shift motion that you're working on. Your left shoulder does go down. It actually tilts around the spine angle. So it looks like it goes down a little bit too much at the top here. And it could, whenever your left shoulder goes down, it's going to, as you take your arms back, your left shoulder goes down, your arms kind of go high as a result. So I know you're 5-6 months, put it this way, a 5 or 6 month swing like this is really good. It's solid. You're on the right track. I would still focus on basics, grip alignment, set up posture, make sure you're aiming correctly, make sure your posture is really good in terms of getting the feet more under your hips so you don't have this upper body motion going on. And then just focus on turning around your center of your spine. Again, I highly recommend checking that ball position, making sure you don't forward press. If you're my student, I'd be doing everything possible to get you away from that and just try and kind of prove my what am I trying to say? I don't know. Trying to prove something, but I don't know what it is. But either way, great job. We're going to go with what I said with you. But all in all, I think you're doing a really good job. Keep it up. Keep working with that pro. Make sure you see a pro at least once a month while you're going through this development process. Don't see him too much because there's not much more he can do other than give you assignments. And you just make sure you stick to those assignments. And make sure you ask for field drills. So, there's one thing to hit golf balls, but you need ones at the house where you can feel your motions and develop it even better. So I hope that helps you. And I hope you guys all have a great day. And I will see you next time on episode, whatever the next episode is. I even forgot what this episode number is because it's been out for so long, but I will know the number next time. Take care. Fairways and greens.